All right, welcome back, guys, from the long break. We finally got the 1104 spoilers, and this chapter does not disappoint. It is very hype, and I'll get right into it. But considering that we are coming off of like a 3-week break, I just want to quickly refresh you guys on what had happened in the previous chapter. So Kuma's flashback had finally ended, and we came to moments before all the chaos started, where we saw that Bonnie had, in fact, absorbed Kuma's memories, with Vegapunk finding out about it. Then we came to the present, where Saturn was holding up Bonnie, instructing the Marines to shoot her. And at this point, all hope seemed lost, since no one was really able to do anything. Luffy was gassed out from using Gear 5 against Kizaru. Kizaru himself was still concussed from getting knocked by Gear 5 Luffy. Sentomaru was chained up by the Marines, and the rest of the Vegapunks and the Straw Hats were seemingly paralyzed by Saturn's Devil Fruit ability. Bonnie is able to momentarily fight back using the distorted future to make her Nika-like, but of course it does nothing because Saturn's a beast. And then suddenly we see Luffy was able to get food somehow, and we'll go over what may or may not have happened in this video, don't worry. But then suddenly Kuma returns to Egghead Island after leaving Mary Schwa, still going on his cyborg rampage. And just before Saturn is able to kill Bonnie, Kuma intervenes, blocking the shot, saving Bonnie, and then turning around about to punch Saturn. And that's where the cliffhanger was for like the past 3 weeks. We are now finding out what had happened. So Kuma's punch lands on Saturn. Everyone is surprised to see Kuma. Well, yeah, go figure. Saturn got hurt severely from Kuma's attack. As a result of the damage, Saturn loses a limb. So wow, that's pretty crazy. And I'm not really too surprised because, for one, we just went through Kuma's flashback. So he needs to have some kind of retribution here, considering how awful his friggin' life has been and continues to be. And also how much of a complete scumbag Saturn has been built up to be as well. And also, I suppose it's supposed to parallel to like Luffy punching Charlos too, because the sequence kind of looks like it's paralleling to that. However, I'm kind of happy about this too, because it's going to cause so much discourse in the power scaling community now, because, you know, there's already enough discourse about who's stronger, Gorosei, Yonkos, admirals, and all that stuff. So now that a perceived, quote-unquote, not as strong as admirals in Kuma is damaging Saturn this bad, there's going to be all kind of new fraud memes out there for Saturn. And I guess just downplaying the Gorosei in general. Now, what do I make of this? Like I said, I wouldn't put too much into this for Kuma being like Yonko level or whatever. It's more so just the narrative needing this payoff, I guess. Like, in the end, Luffy is going to be the one that saves everyone, but at least just have Kuma have this one moment. I mean, he is technically freaking dead at this point. Considering that Bonnie absorbed his memories, that means that he's essentially dead, since his memories can't be put into another vessel or whatever. And I also don't think this means that Saturn is weak. I mean, from what we've seen so far, he is one of the strongest characters we've ever seen, at least from a Devil Fruit perspective, and I'll get into that because he does something wild at the end of the chapter. But yeah, Kuma is pretty strong. He always was. But he has more of like an ambiguous level of strength, you know, because we never really saw him pushed. We've only seen glimpses of what he can do. But anyway, Kizaru wakes up and is able to move again. He starts attacking the Straw Hats. So this is pretty interesting because Kizaru is like the wild card here. We know that he has been having like this subtle face turn throughout this arc. I mean, it's been hammered home by Oda in the flashback of Kuma. Like, he was doing the freaking Nika dance. I mean, that's like the dead giveaway for a face turn. I mean, like, you don't do the Nika dance and then suddenly you're like a psychopath. And also, he does have the light Logia. And as we've seen, one of the biggest narratives in this series is the light versus the darkness. I mean, the D probably means the dawn, bringing the dawn to the eternal night that Imu has put over the world. So that was probably a little hint there as well. And also Kizaru caring about Sentomaru and Bonnie, as Saturn was going to have them both killed. And also, I talked about it in my previous review, I'm sure with tons of other people, that it's very possible that Kizaru was the one who supplied Luffy with the food that he is eating now, meaning that he straight up lied to Saturn about him not being able to move, and also, you know, betraying him by giving Luffy the food. allegedly. I mean, it's not proven yet, but in the previous chapter, like, we see Kizaru like lying down at first. And then after Luffy gets the food, we see him like sitting up. And I think that was probably Oda telling us that he probably had something to do with it. I mean, also you can kind of see the bowl of ramen that he was eating on the ship next to Luffy, meaning that he probably got the food from the ship that the Marines came in on. But there is like another possibility that if it wasn't Kizaru who did this, then it could have been Caribou, because I don't know, if you look at the bottom of the panel here, this could be like Caribou Swamp Logia transporting the food, maybe. I don't know. I would like to think it's Kizaru. But it's saying here that Kizaru wakes up and is able to move again and starts attacking Straw Hats. I think this is probably just Kizaru still saving face. Like, he's not ready to just be like, you know what, Saturn? Screw you. I'm no longer a cog in the wheel. I'm rebelling and I'm joining Straw Hats. Like, he's not exactly at that level yet. So he still needs to keep up appearances. But maybe this is copium, but I'm pretty sure Kizaru is turning face at some point or another. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Hofsco, because they just released their new Xander Max 10-inch folding electric scooter, and this is your last chance to save big on it during their holiday season Christmas sale. If you were looking for the best way to make your commutes, well, here it is. The Xander Max has a 500-watt peak powerful motor. It can go up to 19 miles per hour and has a 15-degree uphill climb. It also has a 3-speed mode, which varies between fastest for a thrilling ride, medium for a balanced pace, or low for leisure strolls. You can maintain this all on its intuitive LCD display. It has a max range of 30 miles from a 36-volt, 10.4 Ah lithium-ion battery and 10-inch tires, as well as a double brake system, which is highly responsive, energy-saving, and improves riding safety. It's also foldable and very portable. Just look at how light this is. The foldable frame can be folded up in only one step and is easy to store in cars and public transport. I personally love the Xander Max because of how simple and efficient it is. Being a full-time content creator living in the inner city, I don't need or really want a car, so the Xander Max is perfect for somebody like me. Or if you just don't have a car in general because, you know, it's too expensive and a headache, not to mention the price of gas, this can be the new easy way that you get around. Because for me, whether I'm running an errand or shopping, the Xander just makes my life that much easier. But to be honest, even if I had a traditional job, I would use the Xander Max for my commute anyway. Every week I see like multiple people paying to use public scooters, which can really eat away at your bank account. Because of course, the better option is to just buy your own scooter, like the Xander Max. Hofsco also has the Porto Max electric scooter for commuting and grocery shopping. It has an awesome basket on the back for carrying whatever you need, as well as a cruise control function, which allows you to drive at a constant speed. Of course, you can always get the Hob City step-through cruiser electric bike, which I personally have and have been using for many months now, and I absolutely love it. So guys, to get your very own Hofsco Xander Max electric scooter, check the link in the description because right now it is $150 off. Thanks guys. The Straw Hats can move now because Saturn got damaged and attempt to fight back. Okay, so whatever kind of paralyzing effect that Saturn had on the Straw Hats is disrupted now because he was attacked, which is understandable because this is pretty much how Devil Fruits work for the most part, unless the more nuanced ones where you need to like basically go unconscious for them to be disabled. Marines prepare for the destruction of Egghead. Saturn regrows his limb and recovers. So that's pretty wild. If Saturn's fruit wasn't already powerful enough, he has freaking reverse curse technique too. And it makes me think, like, is this just the base effects of the Devil Fruit that Saturn had, which, I don't know, could be a mythical Zoan Ushioni or whatever? I mean, we don't know the name of it yet. I mean, I guess it could be, since my theory, at least, is that the Gorosei and Imu had first pick of the Devil Fruits. Or at least one of the first picks. It remains to be seen if Joy Boy or Nika had first pick or whatever, but it was like Nika and the Gorosei and Imu, I think, who were the first people to have Devil Fruits. So understandable that they would have the most powerful ones. Now, either that or Saturn like augmented his Devil Fruit to have more abilities, possibly. Like, that doesn't seem too far-fetched, since we saw that he was experimenting on Bonnie, found out that he gave her like a devil fruit extract as she was a baby. And he also experimented on her mother, which, you know, gave her the sapphire scales. But I guess it is possible to augment your own devil fruit and give it more abilities, I suppose. I mean, maybe that's something that will be explored later on in the future. But also, you know, we have seen Logias regrow their limbs, although this is like different since he's not a Logia. But yeah, now we might see Saturn actually really get his hands dirty here because Luffy is seemingly recovering now, and we might see Saturn versus Luffy. And also, Zoro is still out there like fighting Lucci, I guess, whenever that comes back into play. But let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.